Could a single cow, born in silence, shake nations and ignite debates about the end of the age? For thousands of years, the red heifer has been one of the Bible's most mysterious commands. It's a story that feels ancient, almost like a forgotten myth. But what if I told you it's happening right now, in our lifetime? Let's go back to the source. In the book of Numbers, chapter 19, God gave the people of Israel a very specific and unusual law. They were to find a perfect, unblemished red heifer. This couldn't be just any cow. It had to be entirely red, without even two black or white hairs. It could never have been yoked or put to work. This perfect animal was to be sacrificed, and its ashes mixed with water to create a unique substance for purification, specifically for cleansing from contact with death. This was the only way, according to the Torah, to achieve the level of ritual purity needed for certain sacred duties. But this entire practice vanished nearly 2,000 years ago after the destruction of the Second Temple in Jerusalem. For centuries, the red heifer was a topic for scholars, a piece of history, and yet today, it's back in the headlines. This isn't a metaphor. It's a living, breathing reality. The modern story picks up steam in 2022. In a move that sent ripples through religious communities worldwide, 5 young red heifers were flown from a ranch in Texas all the way to Israel. Organizations like the Temple Institute, dedicated to preparing for a third temple, hailed their arrival as a monumental step. Could these calves from the heart of Texas be the missing key? The key to restoring biblical purity and paving the way for the rebuilding of the temple? The excitement was electric. You could feel it in the air. But the standard for a red heifer is brutally strict. It's not just about the color. Every single hair must be red. There can be no blemishes on its skin. It must never have carried a burden. As these heifers grew, rabbis and experts began the meticulous inspection process. They examined them hair by hair, inch by inch. And then, one by one, the hope began to dim. Every single heifer from that Texas shipment was disqualified. Some were found to have a few non-red hairs. Others developed blemishes as they matured. For a moment, it seemed the dream had faded once again. But the story doesn't end there. Fast forward to August of 2025. Suddenly, news breaks again, this time from within Israel itself. A red calf had been born on Israeli soil. A new candidate. This one is being carefully guarded, its health and condition monitored around the clock. Experts have inspected it and declared it a viable possibility. A potential candidate. But it's not a final answer just yet. The calf is still young, and it must remain perfect as it grows to maturity around 2 years of age. Time will be the ultimate judge. Meanwhile, just a month earlier, in July of 2025, something historic happened in the ancient biblical site of Shiloh. For the first time in nearly 2 millennia, a red heifer was sacrificed in the land of Israel. Now, this is where it gets complicated. Some observers called it a prophetic earthquake, a clear preparation for the days to come. But others, including many rabbinic authorities, insisted it was only a symbolic rehearsal. They argued it wasn't the full, biblically required ceremony, perhaps because the animal used wasn't a 100% qualified candidate. But the fact remains, something that many thought they would never live to see, happened. These practice runs have become part of the preparation. Using disqualified heifers, groups are training modern-day priests in the ancient ceremonies. They are relearning the precise steps, the prayers, and the actions required for the ritual, ensuring they are ready for the day a true, perfect candidate finally arrives and is old enough for the ceremony. And behind the scenes, science is getting involved. It's not just about waiting for a miracle. Ranchers and scientists are working together, exploring advanced genetics, embryo transfers, and carefully managed breeding programs. They are actively trying to produce that flawless animal that meets every single line of the ancient command. It's a fascinating intersection of ancient faith and modern technology. So, why does all of this matter so much? Why the intense focus on one specific type of cow? According to traditional Jewish law, without the ashes of a red heifer, the highest state of ritual purity cannot be restored for the nation. Without that purity, the priesthood cannot be fully reinstated to perform all their sacred duties. And without a consecrated priesthood, the grand vision of a rebuilt Third Temple in Jerusalem remains an incomplete dream. The red heifer is seen as the essential first step. For many Christians watching biblical prophecy, the red heifer has become a critical signpost. They see these events as a tangible marker, indicating just how close we might be to the fulfillment of end-time prophecies. The discussion often turns to the rise of a third temple, which many prophecy teachers connect to the appearance of the Antichrist and ultimately the second coming of Jesus Christ. The logic is that a rebuilt temple requires a purified priesthood, which requires the red heifer. However, there's also a strong voice of caution within Christianity. Other believers and theologians remind us not to get too carried away with setting dates or making definitive predictions. They point to the words of Jesus himself in the Gospel of Matthew, where he says that only the Father knows the day and the hour of his return. They argue that our focus should be on faith and living righteously, not on trying to decode a prophetic timeline. Still, the symbolism is powerful and undeniable. A ritual that was lost to history for 2,000 years is being actively prepared for again. Heifers are being bred and flown across the world. They are being inspected with incredible scrutiny. Priests are rehearsing ancient ceremonies, and the whole world, thanks to the internet and global media, is watching. So what are we witnessing? Is this a divine sign, a fulfillment of prophecy unfolding before our eyes? Is it simply a fascinating coincidence, a rare genetic occurrence that people are attaching meaning to? Or is it a human-led experiment, an attempt by passionate believers to accelerate prophecy and make their vision a reality? One thing is absolutely certain. The red heifer is no longer a dusty, forgotten footnote in an ancient religious text. It has become a living headline, stirring faith, fear, and deep fascination across the globe. It's an object of intense study under the prophetic microscope. So now I want to ask you, after hearing all this, what do you think? Is this the beginning of something much greater? Or is it just another passing headline in our chaotic news cycle? I want you to leave your answer in the comments below, but just use one word to sum it up. Is it a sign, an experiment, or a coincidence? Let me know. Because in the shadow of prophecy, it's possible that even a single red cow might be speaking much louder than we realize. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this topic as fascinating as I do, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into stories that shape our world. We'll see you in the next video.